Now, women's health expert Dr. Marilyn Glenville has stayed with us and joins me now to answer some of your questions at home. And Marilyn, we had a massive response. So we'll try and speed through as many as we can. Yeah. So Anne has emailed. She says, I've no thyroid and I'm going through the menopause and I'm finding it so difficult to keep the weight down, even though I follow a strict diet and walk almost every day. I'm on 100 milligrams of, is that L-troxin?
L-troxin, yeah.
Every day, and I have no thyroid. I can't take soya for hot flushes, so I have to suffer on. I'm 53 years old, and I could really do with some help. Well, I mean, suffer on. No one needs to suffer on. Is there anything can be done for Anne?
And, of course, our thyroid affects our metabolism, so she's on good medication to try and balance that because she's obviously had her thyroid removed. There are other things that she can take, so things like red clover, sage. There are good natural remedies that can help her through the menopause and work on the hot flushes and the night sweats. And she mentioned soya, and the only issue really is if it's raw. So if she has cooked soya and things where the soya has already been cooked and it's not in its raw form, it won't affect the uptake of that hormone that she's taking. So there are ways of getting the phytoestrogens in for her to help get rid of the symptoms, and also it will help with the weight as well. So she just needs to keep her diet balanced to make sure she is doing the exercise, because our metabolism unfortunately does slow down as we get older.
So the phytoestrogens you spoke about, the grains, the chickpeas, lentils, all that kind of stuff, try and get them into the diet.
And she can even do them in supplement form. She could take red clover as a supplement, which is a phytoestrogen. So there are ways of doing it both with her food, and she might need higher levels because of the extreme effects she's got of the symptoms.
Brilliant. Niamh has also got in touch. She said, I suffer from crippling hormonal migraines every month. I had breast cancer in 2009 when I was pregnant. The cancer was hormonal. I went on tamoxifen for 5 years and I've been suffering with migraines since. I'm just wondering if there's anything I can do to balance out my hormones or treat this rather than the strong drugs I have to take. Thank you. That sounds like it's something that would be very tough to take on.
It is, and hormonal migraines are really common. So I know she'd had a history of breast cancer, but other women can get them just every month, and they can come either the day before the period or the day of the period. And it's very, very interesting when you think of our cycle, because it's actually the end of one and the start of the next, all around that same couple of days. So it's a lot of a hormonal transition for us. And oftentimes when there's a migraine, it can even come with nausea, feeling very sick or wanting to be sick. It's actually the liver. So it's the liver struggling with the detoxification of the hormones. So it may be that she needs to take out alcohol for a little while, could use some herbs like dandelion. It just means improving the liver function because it's trying to do two jobs at the same time. The hormones are dropping down for the end of the cycle, but at the same time, we're starting on the next one. So there's a big hormonal transition at that time in the month. OK, so lots of water and maybe stay away from the alcohol. And then think about the alcohol,
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Another anonymous mailer says, I'm having terrible menopause, anxiety, depression, insomnia, pure misery. My hot sweats are petering out. So that's under some control, but I've no energy and no motivation. It started 3 years ago. I have a history of endometriosis and ended up with a hysterectomy 10 years ago. I'm 52 now. My mother had breast cancer, so HRT is not an option. I walk an hour a day and take wild yam. I'm on antidepressants and sometimes sleeping pills, would rather a more natural approach. My diet is mainly vegetarian, but I could really use help with the mental side of it, as a feeling of complete body wasting away feeling, though I'm very healthy and any help would be appreciated. Well, that sounds like it's very tough, that her motivation is gone, she's feeling low. I mean, can she be helped?
Yes, and she's got the anxiety, the depression. I mean, she's done wonderfully well putting the wild yam in. Again, she could use red clover, she could use sage, hops, things like that could go in that are going to help with the symptoms. For her, it's also really important that she balances her blood sugar because she doesn't want to be under any stress that's going to make her feel much lower. And although she's vegetarian, and that can be really healthy, it mustn't be vegetarian with a lot of sugar and refined carbohydrates. So it needs to be a healthy vegetarian, and also to think about the protein that's going in. So that needs to come from nuts and seeds or beans. So it needs to be a really good balanced diet, and that should help to keep her mood in balance as well. So it's all about keeping energy in balance, mood, and also the hormones as well. But I think there's a lot she could do to help herself at this time in her life.
OK, brilliant. Well, all the best with that for sure. Moving on, Katrina says, I am 36. I'm going through early menopause after chemotherapy and radiotherapy treatment for cervical cancer. I'm currently experiencing extremely sore and stiff joints. As I was thrown into early menopause, the hot flushes and sweats are extremely bad. I have a 13-month-old, so attending to her needs is my main priority. Can you recommend any natural remedies that may ease my symptoms so I can regain some of my standard of living? As my cancer was mixed, I cannot take HRT.
Yeah,
oh, wow,
so
Katrina's got a lot going on. She's very young, she's a busy mum, so what can she do?
And she's gone through this at a very early age. And it's interesting about oestrogen, it has an anti-inflammatory effect on our body. So when we lose it, either at the menopause or Katrina going through what she's gone through, a lot of women say to me that it's not the hot flushes and the night sweats that are affecting them, it's actually the joint pains. And they feel like when they get up in the morning, they're almost creaking until they get to the bathroom. It's like the body needs that lubrication. And we're back again to those omega-3 fatty acids. They're anti-inflammatory, so when we lose our oestrogen, either through surgery or through the menopause, we can get this very painful soreness in the joints. So it's thinking about making sure she's got enough oily fish, egg yolks, and even maybe taking a omega-3 supplement is going to help, because it can be very severe, and especially at such a young age. She's only 36. She doesn't want to feel like an older woman
Certainly
at such
not.
a young age.
And she's going to be tired running after a 13-month already. So all the best to you, Katrina. And another anonymous one. I'm 34 years old and I suffer with PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome. I have 2 children but found it very difficult to conceive both. My husband and I would like a third, but I feel that the symptoms of the PCOS has worsened. Is it too late to reverse the effects of it? And what key nutrients should you focus on in my diet? Well, you see lots of women that arrive thinking they can't get pregnant and then end up in the family way.
And she's done really well having 2 children, even though it did take her longer to conceive. But yes, she has the potential to allow herself to have another pregnancy if that would be what they want, and that would be wonderful. So with PCOS, it is a problem that women become insulin resistant. Their body doesn't use insulin effectively, and it's all about reversing that, and we can do that. I have to say with PCOS, it's one of the most effective ones with the dietary changes. It is so simple to put those changes in place, and it is all about balancing blood sugar, making sure there's enough protein going in with the carbohydrates, taking out all the refined, the white pasta, the white bread, and the added sugar. And interesting nowadays, it's not just the sugar that we would think about in our cakes and biscuits, but it's all this hidden sugar that's in our spaghetti sauces, mayonnaise, salad dressing, baked beans. So there's lots of this hidden sugar going in every day. So it means she needs to become a bit of a label reader. Make sure she's eating regularly, up the protein, put in the essential fats, certain nutrients like magnesium, chromium, really good research on them. So PCOS is a wonderful one to work on because it is very definitely diet driven, and it means then we can work the other way to give her the chance of conceiving naturally.
Brilliant. Well, I mean, if it's a girl, you'll have to call it Marilyn, or there's Marilyn Manson you can do it for a boy as well. You are in Dublin on Tuesday, Galway on Wednesday and Cork on Thursday. Is there a website where people can find out more?
Yes, it's glenvillenutrition.ie, and it would be lovely to see people there, and there'll be loads of time for questions as well.
Brilliant, because we couldn't get to everyone today. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.